If you've heard the news lately, ProjectMessiah.com have been offering up their Messiah Studio. It's a character animation studio with a built-in renderer for $10 in exchange for you sharing this information on forums, Facebook, basically viral campaigning it out. And it has worked quite well. As you can see here, it's getting pretty close to the goal, and the goal, when it's reached, is when they will ship out the full licenses to all the people who've purchased it. And the reason you purchase it, well, is simply this ridiculously cheap price. Now, Project Messiah has been well known for having a really good rigging system and also a really fast workflow. It's pretty much been designed as a character animation tool. Now, I've already bought this, but what I did do, just so I could get upskill and get kind of familiar with it, is under download you can actually download a demo version which lasts 2 weeks, but on the plus side, it's fully functional for those 2 weeks, or as fully functional as I could kind of find out. Okay, so here's LightWave and here's a character, and what you need to do to connect these two together, so Messiah and LightWave, is to go add plugins. And if you look under the program files PMG and your Messiah install, at the moment I'm running demo, as you can see here, you'll find Messiah LW.p, and you add that, and that'll add in 3 plugins. Well, it'll say 6, but it's only added 3. Messiah LightWave.p, added in. Do not move it from this folder, by the way, so do not move it across to your LightWave install, because it needs to sit here so it can access all of these DLLs and applications and so forth. So I've already added this. I'm going to cancel that for now. And like I said, it adds 3 plugins. The one that used to call up Messiah is under additional, and I'm not going to scroll down this gigantic list to find it. It's one in here called Messiah : interface, and I've actually made a button here for it. So if I click on that, it will connect me across the Project Messiah, and it'll say here connected to host LightWave. So it's pretty much the application on its own, and it's talking back and forth between LightWave and itself. Now I need to get my character that I've got loaded up here in layout across into Project Messiah. You see it's not here yet. Okay, so let's go back in here. Now there's another plugin that Project Messiah has installed that is used for sharing animation data, basically displacement information, where you've got bones or morphs or cloth or whatever driving this character. So the first thing I do in here is I go Object Properties, make sure the subdivision order is set to either after displacement or last, because it's a subpatch model, and under Deform, add displacement. Okay, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, but right down the very bottom, which you can't see because it's out of the window here, is a displacement plugin called Messiah : displace, and there it is there. If I go back to Messiah, you'll see that it's loaded up the LightWave object in here, ready to go. So what I need to do in here is all the rigging and animation has to be done in Project Messiah if you're working this way. One thing to watch out for that I've noticed while playing with this is if you're getting rigging or morphs or any other thing driving your character in layout, then it will kind of look a bit wonky and go a bit funky, because it's trying to apply animation out of Project Messiah on top of your deformers and your bones and everything else in layout. So Project Messiah is designed for rigging and character animation, so you wouldn't want to load a fully rigged LightWave character into layout and then try and animate it in here. So this is where you'd set up your rigging and you do your animation. Okay, so let's do some simple animation. What this will do is it'll basically transfer the point animation onto the vertices of this. Now I don't have a rig in this character, so I'm going to just scrub the little time slider down here, and I'm going to just do a quick and dirty motion, maybe a few keyframes in here, maybe something really simple when I go to the end here. Just say move it right across, maybe do a bit of a rotation on there so he's looking at the camera. So there we go. Okay, if I want to tweak the motion curves in the graph editor, I just have to drag that timeline up. It's actually a pretty cool little workflow here. I quite like this. Okay, so I can go in here, click on that, I can adjust it if I want to. Okay, use the middle mouse button a lot for this. Okay, you can change like keyframes in here to that. You got busy handles and that, and so forth. Okay, so here's my really bad animation, which kind of is working. Let's bring that back down. If I go back to layout and I play that, you see that it's transferred all of that animation across. Now this is vertice animation. You notice that the object is still staying here, so it's really just displacing the object based on the animation data from ProjectMessiah. Now let's say you wanted to also animate something like the camera in ProjectMessiah. Well, there's another third plugin that you use to translate things, that is things that don't have geometry, such as that object. And that you'll find, for instance, let's take the camera and go M for motion options under add modifier. And again, you won't see this because it's outside the window, just is a plugin here called Messiah Xform. Okay, which will snap it to there. Let's go back. Okay, and what it's done, okay, is it's made another camera position down here. And I can move that back. And if I go back to layout, you'll see that it's actually moved the camera for me. So I go back to ProjectMessiah. Let's move it all the way back to here, and then let's rotate it so it looks that way, and let's spin it up so it looks up. So I've got this animated camera motion. We'll go back to layout. You see there's my camera animation. So you can do two things out of Messiah. One is you can displace geometry such as that, and the other one is you can move static objects without geometry such as cameras and lights, and do it all inside the animation workflow of Messiah. Now once you're finished here, you can go File, Save, Scene As, and call that Messiah Test. Okay, and say this is a non-saving demo. So the demo version doesn't have saving, but it will basically export out that information into the and what we call an embedded scene. Okay, so, and there's a bit of a typo in here. Could not say Messiah's embedded SNCnet data. Okay, so these are now hooked together, and that's pretty much the general gist of workflow between ProjectMessiah and LightWave.